Hello, Mechwarriors, and welcome to the Mechbay, where we fix your mech and fix your game. What's going on, Mechwarriors? I'm your host, Josh. I've got my co-host, Steve, an expert in bird law with me today.
Look, between the Jade Falcons, Snow Ravens, and Free Worlds League, my list choices, they're not governed by reason.
And we are the Mechbay Podcast, your number one source for all things casual to competitive tabletop Battletech. And today's episode is sponsored by Mechwarrior Jeffrey Camptiello and Cadet Nate Handy. I got to meet both of these guys like a week ago. That was pretty cool.
That was pretty rad. We met so many cool people at the tournament, either played them or had them show up at the Alpha Strike tournament. It was super cool to meet all these people. And, you know, obviously Denim isn't here because this episode is going to cover the Alpha Strike portion of the tournament. And he'll be here next episode when we cover the Classic port. But it was very nice to meet all of you. Had a lot of fun. So, yeah, it was great. I had a really good time.
Do you want to just get into it, Steve? We got a lot of episode to cover.
We have a ton to cover. But before we do have to cover just a couple things before we get started.
Do we? We do this every time. We always do this silly little hobby news, hobby progress. Sometimes we even have fan mail. And Blake forbid we have some upcoming events.
Look, if you don't want to do it, I'll do it by myself. Speaking of playing by myself, in news, Aces is now pre-orderable from Fortress Miniatures and Games, and people are reporting getting their shipping notifications as of today. So if you've been waiting for Aces as long as I have, check out Fortress Miniatures and Games because Bobby's got it on lockdown.
Steve, we got to put our hands on Aces at Southern Assault.
We did. He had a box for us to look at. It was pretty cool.
It was. The mechs look great. The terrain on the inside looks even better. And that was probably the most comprehensive and like actual full rule book I've seen in a while.
I'm really excited, mostly for the card deck. So for those of you that don't know, Aces is a PvE type game. The game has a card deck that's going to run itself. It's almost like a computer that tells the enemy mechs what they're doing and who they're targeting. So you can play with your friends and you can actually work together in a cooperative game mode to fight the mission or the opponents. And what is very cool is they've got a couple different boxes of Aces planning on coming out, and you can take all the cards from all these other boxes and you'll be able to design your own AI for the robots. So you can make your enemies more dangerous or less dangerous depending on, how you want to play the mission, which is super cool.
It sounds cool. I can't wait. I mean, I have to because I wasn't able to pre-order because I was focused on all the other things. But when I don't have to wait, I'll be not waiting.
My wife threatened me with bodily harm if I had pre-ordered it because I think she's looking for things for the upcoming holidays to buy me. So I will have to wait at least until Christmas.
It'll be the big ticket item. I promise that. Also in store news, Bobby with Fortress Miniatures and Games is moving. And you know what that means. He has to pack a lot of boxes, and because he does not want to do that, he is having a super large sale. He has 50% off on a lot of ancillary things like Battletech plushies, the Vector games, anything from FASA, Renegade games, Aliens, Doctor Who, Dune, Battlefront, Halo, Flashpoint box sets, 40% off Modifius, 30% off regular Halo, and 10% off consignments and any Iron Wind Metal stuff. So if it's not that, it's 25% off. So, yeah, it's honestly the best deal around right now. Not going to say I've already done my Christmas shopping, but I've already done a lot of damage. So, check it out if you want to. No pressure. Do it. All right, that's hobby news. Hobby progress. We've worked on Southern Assault stuff. Moving on, right? Right?
Oh, I have a story for you, Josh.
No.
Oh, you already know, and you're mad about it, and I like that. It's very fun. So yes, we finished basing Snow Ravens. We put the Swamp display board together in about 4 hours. It was great. I think people liked it at Southern Assault. It was pretty cool. You can find pictures of that on the Discord. But buying is hobby progress, and at Southern Assault, Bobby opens up his store, and he's got all sorts of goodies waiting for you if you're willing to dig for them. At the end of day 2, I believe, he took out a box labeled Unseen. And I knew what I was looking for. I dove right into it. I managed to snag an Unseen Galahad, a Battlemaster, and a Griffin. Which, I mean, they look kind of goofy, no doubt, but I was excited to get them, right? Because I don't have any unseen stuff, which is pretty cool. And I was looking for a Raijin, which was not in that box. But I told Bobby, I said, Bobby, you got all this unseen stuff. I'd really like a Raijin, and I just can't find one. I'm bummed. He says, okay, I'll see if I find one at the bottom of the box when I go through it later. Bobby found a Raijin at his house, and he brought it to me because Bobby is one of my favorite people. So I was able to buy a Raijin off him at Southern Assault.
I was a little mad last episode. I think anyone who listened to the audio would be able to identify in court that Josh was a little bit, frustrated. I was definitely actually frustrated because Bobby did it while I was standing next to you, and I've never been hurt like that before.
You already have a Raijin.
I have one Raijin.
How many Raijins does a man need?
I need at least 2 additional Raijins.
Well, now you're just being greedy.
How many birds do you have, Steve?
I have a lot of birds, but 90% of them are plastic, so they're available to everybody.
And how many duplicates of all those do you have? What is your most common duplicate right now?
Pause. I will find out. So I looked it up. I have my mech catalog, right, that covers everything. I believe it's a surprise to no one that the most common mech that I have painted is a crab. And those are official CGL crabs. I have 7 unpainted CGL crabs in my tote right now, not to mention the 6 or 7 that I've got painted for actual plastic models. I've got more Iron Metal crabs, but I think if we look for something that is not one of those, the most common mech that I have is actually a vulture.
Oh,
okay. It's a vulture, actually.
All right.
I've got 5 unpainted of those and at least 2.
Oh my gosh.
look. I've got 5 of those unpainted, and then I think I got 1 or 2 in the Jade Falcon pile. So it's just because that's the box that I buy. That box is really, really helpful.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of good mechs in it.
So the fact that I have 1 metal Raijin.
Yeah, but you can go buy those plastic vultures. They're not rare.
Moving on.
Josh is big mad that I have a Raijin, but I have one, so I'm very excited. Other hobby progress, I do have to do a huge shout out to Dave. Dave 3D printed me a fully articulated summoner that is like 1.5 feet tall, and he painted it in Delta Galaxy. It's amazing. It looks so cool. Thank you very much, Dave. That's an amazing thing that you did, and I appreciate you doing it. I have posed it, and it is now sitting next to my Battletech shelf. So it's too big to fit on the shelf. I got to move some pegs around so it'll fit, but it'll get down there. It's pretty cool. Thank you, Dave. Josh, what about you? Did you get any hobby progress in?
Yeah, I finished my Southern Assault Nova Cats, and I made a display board. It's not even a display board. Like, let's not call it that. There were display boards, display ships, and then mine is a piece of plasticard with some texture paint and some crystals on it. So I finished that up, and then my 5 mechs left. So
can we take a quick minute here and I want to talk about display boards because you brought them up.
Mm-hmm.
We now need AV tech for our display boards at Southern Assault. There were people that had slideshows. There were people that had 3-foot long like aircraft carriers. There was someone that had a whole like soundtrack and glowing lights and like RGB lighting and club music. My little swamp felt really, really out of date. I'm like, I was really proud of my swamp.
Yeah. This is one of those things where I've been in the game a little too long and I've seen the arms race and I'm like, hey, there was a reason why in the classic one we posted, you can bring a display board where we are not going to do it for any painting and scoring or anything. Like, it has no effect. So yeah. There were some insane things there. And I was like, all right, now this is just showing off things. And
it's very impressive and they should all feel great about what they've accomplished, but
no, they should not, especially Dave. He spent in the last 6 months of his life building an aircraft carrier and then painting it.
That was amazing.
And then pouring resin for water effects and then custom, printing Aquagladiuses to be swimming. And then it's got a whole section that you pull out of it. And that's just, this is the actual display board. And the rest is just, I don't know, and a zip code.
It's huge. And he drove that thing down there, mostly in one piece. I think apparently one or two of the set pieces broke off, but super impressive, Dave. Did you see the free-handed mermaids on the side of the ship?
Yes.
There was an Aquagladius fighting a crab on the beach.
Yeah.
Like the animal crab, not like a crab mech, like an animal crab. It was amazing.
I don't know. I feel like this just needs to be its own category, like display board, like not in part for Southern Assault, but like, oh, if you want to do this, if you want to do a diorama, like best diorama is its own like little micro thing that you can do at Southern Assault. I think that's the only way this solves itself.
We'll talk to Bobby. That's not a bad idea. Maybe have a real like painting competition for submit one mech, and see him judge that.
Well, that's kind of how Nova does it for Capital Palette. Like you've got your categories of single unit, squad, and then like vehicle, which I mean, for BattleTech, all things fall under one model. And then there's diorama, which is like has to be within X dimensions. So yeah. Wow. Then it goes in a display case, and during the event, people vote for it. So I think that's a good way to channel all this hobby energy that needs to leave the tables and move to a side room.
I need to stop feeling bad about my paint jobs, but it's okay. But no, you all did a very nice job, and you should feel proud of yourselves. Except Josh doesn't think so. I think so. I believe in you. I believe in your hobby.
All right, let's get some upcoming events, because guess what? There's 2 of them.
Yep. I think we mentioned last time Brawl in the Bluegrass happening March 6th to 8th in Lexington, Kentucky. The Classic Tournament is currently sold out, but I believe there's still room in the Alpha Strike event. So if you haven't gone, there's a lot of other stuff going on there. There is a Blood Name trial. There's the Heavy Metal Tournament where you have to build Ironwind Metal stuff while you play. There's the Ironwind Metals trip. It's a very good time. If you haven't gone, please consider going. Jeff does a phenomenal job running that event, so absolutely check that out. We also have the Carolina Classic coming up February 7th, 2026 at Borderlands Comics and Games in Greenville, South Carolina. That's put on by Jacob, or Hoovy on the Discord. That is a $10 admission for 24 slots, and it is in Classic. So 3 rounds of Classic going from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Hoovy's a nice guy. He will run a fun event. It's based out of the MRC compliant kind of setting. So if you're familiar with some of those rule sets, it should look similar to you. We will have that packet pinned in the events channel in the Discord, and we might even attach it to the show notes if we think to do that.
Okay, well, I think that's it for all the news section. I mean, this is really the Southern Assault episode, no matter which way we cut it. So do you want to just get into Southern Assault, Steve?
I think we should. This year, it wasn't just an Alpha Strike tournament. It was a whole to-do. We had a new venue. We had a whole 4-day schedule of stuff. It was a whole thing. What did you think?
I thought it was great that it was in like an actual convention center this year instead of a school gymnasium. Like it really did feel like Adepticon for me, except I could hear people talking. Like I could grab a chair and sit next to a table and hang out with them instead of fighting and having to drag them to some nook and corner where I could talk. So it was the best parts of the conventions without the worst parts of the conventions to me.
Being interrupted by orc players every 30 minutes doing log. Yeah.
It was much more formal. It was better for the average BattleTech players like psyche. Like, oh, the only thing happening here is BattleTech. All the things and products around me are BattleTech. There's also plenty of chairs and tables that I can just like sit at and look at BattleTech. It's like, this is amazing.
It was a ton of fun. And we got to see all the people that we know and love.
Mm-hmm. That is the best part. And I'll probably touch on it again at the end, but I am sad that I still did not get enough time to hang out with all the people.
Yeah. The events are fun. The games are fun. That's what I like the most, is just seeing the people. But we'll talk about that near the end when we wrap up. There were a lot of events Bobby had. He had a huge vehicle fight that you could participate in. He had some Solaris grinders. He had the Inner Sphere versus Clan fight on like a 4x8 table. So he had a lot of other events that were going on that weren't the Alpha Strike or the classic tournaments. So kind of really opened up for a lot of people to come in and check it out and learn what Battletech is all about if they didn't want to commit to a full tournament, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was real fun. Like the side events, that was what I was kind of sad I couldn't do. Like even while we were doing the classic event, I was like, oh man, that looks really fun. Like Bobby and Kevin and JR and them are just sitting down having fun. I wish that was me right now.
You mean you weren't having fun during the tournament, Josh?
No, I was not the Alpha Strike one. Yes, the classic one. I was behind a spreadsheet the whole time, folks.
We were, we were running around like
we were indisposed.
But you know what else happened there?
What?
Crab back.
Oh, that thing you do, that thing that you and Jonathan Weitzel do every year. And currently, at the time, he had won the last 3. And I was like, Steve, is this just you being beat up for money for children?
Basically, yes. I would sacrifice my body and my crabs to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network and help sick kids.
There are easier ways.
It's the only way I know how. But no, we do an annual crabback charity where we raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. And this year, the last 3, we did Alpha Strike fights. This year we shifted up and moved over to Classic. And we had it so when money was raised, it would generate, every certain dollar amount, you generate a BSP strike for your team that raised the money. So, raising money mattered for which team you donated. The top 3 VIPs got to play an Alpha Strike game that would award the winner of that game a heavy strike, which was pretty important later. And if you didn't want to do it, or if you didn't make a VIP cut, you could play in the crabback grinder where there was all crabs versus all hunchbacks. And for every kill you got at the grinder, 1 edge point went to your respective team. So we got everyone started with the grinder go for a couple hours. Surprisingly, not as many kills on the grinder as I would have expected. But I think people were playing pretty conservatively over there. At the end of the day, the crabs managed to pull out a win in Classic.
Whoa.
Which is kind of a big deal because now it means we might have a chance, maybe, if we stop dying horribly. The more important thing, the more important thing is that we managed to raise over $4,000 as of time of recording, over $4,000 for the Children's Miracle Network, which is not quite as much as last year, but things have changed economically. And,
it's the economy. Yeah.
Things are rough out there. So the fact that we could still find people to donate as much as they did is huge. And I'm extremely grateful for all those donors, all those people who thought it was worthwhile and wanted to help kids, and continue to show that Battletech players are some of the nicest and most generous of the war gamers that are out there. So that was great.
No, it looked like it was a great time. I'm so proud of both you and John for raising money and playing a charity match, because I think in the community, tabletop wargaming community world, I think that's probably up there for highest charity match event.
Maybe. I'm not sure. I know that Magic the Gathering raises a ton, D&D raises a ton. Obviously, we don't hold a candle to Tex, who does the videos on YouTube that just generate an absurd amount of money for charities. But
this is Steve versus John, the event of the year. My lunch money goes into a little piggy bank that's will Steve do it this year? Nah, all the money to John. Hunchback for life.
Wow. Well, I do have to give one shout out in particular. Christopher Scherhofer donated he donated $500 to the Crabs cause, which was absurd. Chris, if you're listening, thank you so much. I know you got my email, but seriously, that's impressive and extremely generous. So thank you for your continued support in the Crab Army. So, but that was a lot of fun. We started, things got a little hairy at the end. We might have lost sight of the true meaning of the battle.
A few people said that they were worried.
Well, okay. So every time John or I lost a mech, we may have been goading each other on to take shots of alcohol. So things got a little bit testy by the end, but we were having a good time, and it was for the kids. It was all for the kids, more or less, and revenge.
And the livers.
I kicked that last hunchback to death because he's kicked my crabs to death so many times. I did it for the crabs and the kids. But no, it was a lot of fun, and thank you all so much for your support.
Good job, Steve. Good job.
Thank you. That was Friday night. Then we woke up bright and early Saturday to get started on the Alpha Strike tournament.
Why did we do that?
I don't know, Josh. My first game was a little hazy. I woke up kind of rough.
Yeah. I mean, all I'm going to say is while you were doing Crabback, I went to the bar twice, like once for dinner and once to just like hang out. And I was like, oh, Steve's still playing? Ooh, he's going to have a rough day tomorrow.
Sure did.
All right. It's Southern Assault Alpha Strike time. Were there any major changes between all the other Southern Assault episodes and this one?
Yes.
The first one I'm going to say is artillery was allowed, but had to be skill 4 or higher.
I think that was the same as it was last year. I think he had the same cap last year on artillery.
Mm-hmm. There was the year where he banned it and then came back. So, yeah.
Yes. This year, the big change for me is that the designated critical dice were done away with. Any set of dice could roll a 12 and then crit. That was the big change this year, and I felt it. I felt it really badly.
In the positive way or negative way?
No, I got so many crits against. I got a couple lucky crits, but then I'd roll a 5 or a 9. I mean, I there wasn't, we'll talk about it. I had one go in my favor, but other than that, most of the time I was getting fire controlled all day. It was rough.
I will say right now, rather than make everyone wait, there were 3 instances where I rolled a crit and it was something that was, I want to say, game changing, and the mech did not die. Like,
really?
Yeah, that there were only, I know I hit an Ice Ferret J. I got a random crit on that, got a fire control, and I was like, cool, you're now skill 6 mech that does 7 damage in short. Thank you. I needed that a lot.
Yeah.
And there were 2 against me where they immobilized, not immobilized, but MP hit my Nova Cat. And I was like, well, I'm at least on the objective-ish where I want to be, but I guess I'm not going to move anymore. So those are really the only 2. And then another one, it was just like, oh, cool, fire control, but he was going to die next turn anyways. So it wasn't a big deal to me, nor to my opponents with me playing them. Like, there was never the instance where, wow, I'm getting more crits, so our mechs are now literally crippled fighting each other. Now it's a crippled mech fight instead of a mech fight. I was like, no, it's none of that. Like, everything that got crit was dying, I think, because just the way we're playing.
Yeah, there's a lot of focus fire in these tournaments, and I think that's probably a holdover of how we used to play, because you couldn't like cripple something and then leave it alone. You would just take it off the field. But yeah, I don't necessarily mind. I call it a crit extravaganza, right? Everything crits all the time. I don't necessarily mind it, but you have to keep that in mind when you're playing, because all of a sudden your big heavy guys are a lot less durable, right? Because you can get crit through and have bad things happen to your big tanks. So you don't necessarily want to invest too heavily in any one unit. What did you bring, Josh?
I brought Nova Cats this year. And the only reason, Steve, that I brought Nova Cats is because they have not won a single game since Warzone Atlanta. And I've been feeling a little bad about spending a lot of time painting these darn Nova Cats and them just being the ultimate lore rollover kitty cats.
Well, that's a good enough reason. You want to get them on the table, see new stuff happen to them. That's fair.
But then I made an even more restricted choice. And I was like, no, Nova Cats gets Protomechs. So I'm going to only take Nova Cats when they can take Protomechs. And all of my like late era Nova Cat stuff that I lose even harder with, I didn't take. And I was like, yeah. So I don't learn, Steve. Next year I'll learn. He tells himself for after 5 years of not learning.
Yeah, you're not going to change. That's okay.
Oh, man. So I brought a Novacat E. That is the ATM version, which is a 974 in Alpha Strike. So that's my damage boy. I took a Novacat F, which is the Jump Strong Novacat with ECM.
Oh.
Yeah. So Novacats don't get a lot of cool named things until like Dark Age or early on. And I was like, oh, this is a weird one. They get Protomechs. So I'm going to double up on their, named mech. I felt bad about that, Steve. I really did. I don't like tanking multiple of a chassis.
Yeah. Sometimes it happens.
Yeah.
And frankly, if you're limited in your like decent selection, I mean,
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it is still a tournament. You're trying to do decent. You'd like to place well. So you bring something that, has a decent variant. Yeah.
I took a Nobori Nin, a Huntsman I, that's got a little flak, a little heat, and it's pretty standard medium. I took a Arctic Cheetah A, pretty standard, nothing special. That's my first star. Wait a second, that's not a star. You got to have 5 mechs. Or for me, I added a Thunderbird Battle Armor with LBXs, and those are reflective armor, flak battle armor.
Wow. That's pretty good. What do they run?
21 points.
Wow.
All right. They are 2-2-0 for damage, and they got 4 health and 6 jump. So they're your standard elementals, but with flak and reflective. Did the reflective ever come into effect, Steve? No, because I forgot it every time because they're just battle armor, and they're either dying or they're not dying. It didn't really come into effect, but yeah, the one time I take reflective, I put it on battle armor and then forget about it. So woo me. Then my second star, I've got a Supernova 3. That was my big boy, most expensive. He's a 6.65 assault mech.
That's a lot of long range damage. Did you ever use that?
I did use that. Actually, a bunch. Because the Supernova, Steve, only moves 6 inches. So he's always in long range.
And for the first 3-4 turns, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Next mech is a Griffin 2C6. That's my Jump Strong Griffin. He's my objective grabber. Then I've got a Emotional Support Jenner 2C4, which is just 18-inch mover, 2-2 damage. Nothing to write home about.
He's here to grab stuff.
I've got another battle armor. I've got Void, Novacat, medium battle armor. Those are my stealthy boys. They are 8 jump, and they're just bleh. Nothing, again.
No, I mean, you get +1 for battle armor, +1 for jumping, TMM of 1 naturally, and then they get stealth. So you're looking at
4.
TMM 4 battle armor is not bad at all.
Oh, no. Like, it was good, but it's like, between those 2 battle armor, would another mech for like 45 points been worth it? Probably.
I don't know. I mean, you can drop those things on objectives and they just can't be ignored,
And for the last one, because I got to make a full binary, I've got a point of Protomechs. I've got 2 rocks, 2 Chrysaor 2s, and a Satyr. And they all do at least 1 damage in short.
That's good.
They're all technically, if they either jump or, in the Satyr's case, just move normally, they can all get TMM4. So they are just annoying grabby boys. Yeah.
I mean, I saw your list. I'm like, look, I mean, protos aren't as bad as... Protos are kind of a pain, mostly because they are crazy cheap, and they can move individually without sharing the same initiative block, which makes them very good for initiative syncing.
Mm-hmm.
And with TMM4 on all those guys, those are... I mean, especially with some of the ways that these were scored, it's like number of units on an objective or weight on an objective.
Yeah.
They add up pretty quickly, and you can overkill them very easily. So you're splitting fire to kill them all in a turn, and that's a lot of damage soaking in a couple of units. So that's pretty nasty.
They were why I took the list, but when you finally like come out to the points, it's like, that is 56 points for 5 Protomechs to do 1 damage each.
But I would trade those for my White Raven every day because it's 5 initiatives. I can be on 5 different objectives. That's a huge trade up.
Yeah.
That's a real value.
For me, in the, post sense, I can say, were they worth it? I don't think so. I think my big units were actually just the mechs. And I think the proto mechs and the battle armor actually took away more than I would like to admit, like in a post sense. So yeah, just mechs does fine.
Just mechs does fine. They are the heroes of the universe. So,
yeah. But it was neat taking them. They're painted. Now I don't have to paint them again. Please stop telling me to take proto-mechs, people.
No one tells you to take proto-mechs. That's your own compulsion, sir. That's on you.
Someone tell me to stop telling me to take proto-mechs.
We've tried to tell you this, Josh. You just don't listen to anybody.
I may have bought 5 more proto-mechs at the salvage yard. But anyway, Steve, what was your list?
I had to complete the bird trifecta as Denim
you did.
Accurately called it last time. I brought a conspiracy to commit murder. I brought my snow ravens that I just painted, and I brought all birds. I brought the ever speedy Carrion Crow C. I brought the Vapor Eagle 2, which is not the nasty Vapor Eagle. It's the less nasty Vapor Eagle.
All Vapor Eagles are nasty.
I know, but this is the 542, not like the 76 something, right? This is the one that's a little bit cheaper because I needed the points. I did bring a Warcrow A. I love that model. It's beautiful. It has crit resistance and it has flak 222, which is nice.
I think that's the one I took 2 years ago. And yeah, that one always pays for itself. Just because
100%.
Yeah.
100%. It's got TMM2. It's pretty tanky and it does 553 damage. It's just value. I did bring a Shadowhawk 2C because it was cheap and it did 440 in damage and it was kind of expendable, right? I don't care about your Shadowhawk 2C. Go die for glory for the clan and, go get on that objective. He was always first. I did bring a Dark Crow because it has those dumb hip guns, but it is named a Crow, so it was in the list. It got an automatic pass. I brought a Blackhawk Prime, and that was fun because that has the Overheat 4, so I can do 9 damage at medium range if I know he's going to die. And that was fun. It's like, I'm going to kill that guy off the objective. I'm like, are you sure? Do you really want to kill that guy? And they're like, yeah, why? I'm like, no reason. And then you just, fire all the lasers all the time and watch just a beam of destruction rip across the map. That was fun.
It's like, when you kill me, I actually power up and get to use my ultimate move.
I'm a firing my laser. I did bring, if you're doing birds, you have to. I brought the Kingfisher H. It's the 770 brawler machine. Almost everyone's got one because it is just so efficient in Alpha Strike. So that made the cut.
I'm a little bored of seeing Kingfishers, honestly, but yeah, I understand.
They're good.
Yeah.
And it fit the theme. It was a bird. A Kingfisher's a bird, so I needed a little bit more oomph with my firepower.
No, I get it. I just need to be on record that oh, look, a Kingfisher.
Daring today, aren't we?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It's that for the assaults is where it's at.
The other one that we brought was a White Raven because it's a Snow Raven mech and you got to bring it. So the White Raven was fun. That's another one that's like the War Crow. It's got crit resistance and it's surprisingly fast for its size, but it is very expensive. And I did bring one battle armor, Josh. I brought the Stormbird battle armor because it's another bird.
But did you bring the Jade Falcon version or the Raven Alliance version?
I had to bring the Raven Alliance version because I'm playing Raven Alliance.
I just have to make sure because I know it's wait, the Ravens made this inferior version for the Jade Falcons and then made a good version for them.
Well, it's funny, right? You trade TMM for damage, right? I'm sorry, not even for damage, it's for heat. So the Stormbird battle armors only move 4 inches, have a TMM of 0, but they do 330 and they are fire resistant and do 2 heat at short range. The Jade Falcons don't do any heat, but they jump 6. So they get a higher TMM.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they also get, I think they might get anti-mech as opposed to heat.
So
I have to look.
The Raven Alliance gets fire resistance, heat, and damage, and less movement.
Yeah. So it really depends what you want to use them for. But I don't necessarily love using a salvage pass, and I wanted this to be all Ravens all the time. So I took the Stormbird Raven version. They did well for me. the Stormbird didn't do a ton. They were more of a deterrent because moving 4 inches, they don't really go anywhere, right?
So they are drop and forget.
Yeah, they're pump and dump, and you leave them there, and then they stay there for the rest of the turn until they get shot and die, which happened almost every game. But speaking of games, should we get into it?
Let's get into it, Steve.
Mission 1. The classic. You know it. You love it. Fight.
You have to have fight as like mission 1 just because everyone's rusty. I mean, it's at least been 4 or 5 months since I played Alpha Strike.
Yeah, I think the last actual real game of Alpha Strike I played was probably at Battle for the Bay in Maryland.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, cool! Let me put out my mechs. What do they do? Let me take a look at this."
Well, it didn't help that I had a little bit of a brain fog going on that morning.
Is that what we call it nowadays?
We're
legal reasons.
We're a family-friendly podcast, Josh. It was a brain fog. Yeah. So it's good to get juices flowing. You wake up, you kind of get in the swing of things. You figure out what order you want to move your mechs in and everything else. So I don't hate fight as an opening.
Oh no, I require it.
So yeah, I had the distinct pleasure of playing Aron Hall, who's the line developer for Catalyst.
Wait a second.
No,
did you play him before at your last Alpha Strike tournament?
I did. I played him at Battle for the Bay, and he brought the, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, just watch. The Elysian Lancers is who he brought. And he brought a Vulture Mark IV, a Kingfisher H, a Mad Cat W, Phoenix Hawk 2K, Hellion P, Ryokan H, Loki Mark II, and an Ostol C. This list is not like any other list that Aron has brought. Last Southern Assault, he brought an Ares. At Battle for the Bay, he brought the Gothic miniatures painted up. He was bringing like meme lists. I think Aron got tired of doing that, Josh, and he came out for blood, and I was like, oh no. He got way better at Alpha Strike in the interim. I was like, oh, it's Aron. This is going to be a nice, fun game. You know, we'll fight through the brain fog. We'll have a good time and hang out. And then Aron's like punching me in the gut. And I'm like, Aron, what are you doing? You got really good. I got to like focus now. He played very well. But I mean, that Loki Mark II does 10 damage in short range, you know, and 7 at medium. And it was just hitting like a truck. His Mad Cat does 7 damage at short and medium. I'm fighting for my life. I'm like, where are the woods? Oh, he's got a Kingfisher H that also does 7 damage at both short and medium. I'm like, he's got a wall of fire and things are just dying. It was extremely ugly. I had to kind of do a feint, and my most expensive unit, which was my White Raven, swooped to the left, and then he kind of half countered to move it, but he also left it alone a little bit too long. So it got some good shots on things. And at the end of the day, I didn't beat him by much. I think there was a 78 point difference or 79 point difference between us. So I only got, it was the secondaries in this one that really made the swing for us. So I ended up winning 19-14 against Aron, but that was, a lot of that was secondary objectives that switched those numbers. I mean, he fought tooth and nail, and it was a very good game. And I had a lot of fun. Thank you, Aron. But more importantly, thank you for feeding the addiction and bringing me another blind box as your opponent at the table.
I'm going to put a sign on you that says, please do not feed me salvage boxes.
I need them.
No,
and they're
don't.
fun.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah, I do. It was fun. How about you?
I played Max Duffy, and he took, I want to say Clan Wolf, but he took a Tiburon as a salvage pass.
Oh, nice.
He took a Bloodass, a Timberwolf, a Mad Cat Mark II, a Tiburon, a Nova Cat Prime, Cougar, Piranha, and Shadowhawk 2C. So it's a rough-looking clan list, and a few of those are skill 3, yeah.
But I mean, they're also expensive. The Tiburon's not cheap, and that Bloodass ain't cheap either.
No.
So in a fight mission like this, I'd expect if you knock those out, you're going to have a pretty big point advantage, right?
Oh, yeah. The other thing is Max is like 8 years old.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you pummel a child, Josh?
So I tried not to.
Do we need to call CPS?
No, we don't. But Max apparently plays a very specific way against his dad, and me being a completely different human don't play like his dad does. So he tried to use his tactics, which are how he fights his dad, which are backs to buildings and shoot around through corners. And my impression is with him and his dad, there's a lot of torso twisting to like actually fire. Like you put your back to the building, you peek out a little bit on the corner, and you torso twist. And I was like, hey man, that's not how that works. And I think like his dad's friend was at the next table. His dad's friend was the Pope of New Avalon. There.
Oh, okay.
So
I saw that. He had the mitre and everything.
Exactly. Once I said it, it's like, oh no, that guy. Yeah. Yeah. So he was there. And I have to thank him because he had to keep Max like on task a couple times. Like there was one time I was like, hey, how much does your thing have? How much health does this have left? And he's like, I don't know. And I was like, all right, Max, that's real funny and cute, but like, I actually do need to know how much health that has. He's like, well, and his dad's friend's like, Max, tell him how much health it has.
Answer the question.
Yeah. So, yeah, there were the first 2 turns where he was just literally backing up into buildings and like trying to angle shoot me. I was like, I don't know what's going on. I got not really lucky hits, but I think just the fact that I ran my Griffin 2C, jumped, stronged it like all the way almost to his backfield to try to do the last damage to his Novacat. And then he's like, I declare TFA against your jump strong Griffin 2C with my Mad Cat Mark II. I was like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. I was like, okay. We do the math, and he's like, okay, my skill plus your TMM, so that's 8 up or 7 up because you're skill 3. And I was like, but you jumped 2, Max. and then by the end it's like it's an 11, Max. You didn't do the math right. I'm sorry. And he's like, I was like, do you want to? He's like, yeah. He of course hurts himself in it, like, and I was like, oh no, I feel bad about this. And of course he's shooting the Protomex half the time instead of the Max.
Yeah, he's falling into the classic trap of that thing has very little health. I can kill it if I hit it, but he's shooting on 10s or 11s when he ought to be shooting something slower on 7s or 8s.
Oh, I mean, he was hurting my Nova Cats and Supernovas that were in the back. I was just like, okay, swap them out for a different firing lane and trade in the other guy. So I was doing a lot of that, and I don't think he was able to fully process, because I think 100% it was his dad plays one way and I played a completely different way, and his brain was like, my true and tried tactics aren't working. Well, we'll just throw a blood ass into it.
I mean, you got to adapt, improvise, and overcome, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you go to tournaments. You find different ways to play. You find different tactics you're not used to, and you test yourself. Yeah. So I hope Max had a good time. What was the time? What was the final score?
25-6, and I think I killed everything but his blood ass, and he killed 3 of my Protomex, I think.
I mean, he got 3 kills, but they were 16 points a pop, so they just weren't worth quite as much.
Don't worry, folks. I had the talk afterwards, and I was like, hey, Max, all right, here's the thing. Your dad obviously is a get behind you, get in your rear arc, and just blast you a bunch. That's not how most of these games are going to go. What you got to do is you got to pool all your guys into a giant ball and just rush up the middle of the table. Don't care about anything else. You got plenty of armor, you got plenty of damage, and you got plenty of skill. You just stick together, and you're going to kill them.
Murder ball.
Yeah, and apparently that worked, because I will say at the end table, game 6, Max is the next table next to me. I was like, okay, so obviously it works.
Yeah, he's taking advice to heart. That's good. I hope he had fun. Yeah. It's always nice to see young players kind of show up and give it a go, right? It's tough for
it is tough
for folks to kind of get used to that competitive environment. Not that Bobby breeds a really competitive environment, but still, you're playing people that are looking to win and not just have fun sometimes. So
yeah, I will say that mission definitely, or that game, I should say, was like, is my list a little too competitive? Like, I shouldn't be beating a kid like down to a mech. I've never won the fight mission that hard. It's like, no, it's just he had a tactic in mind that he was sticking to with hard. I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. Well, that's game 1. So we're both coming off wins. Now for game 2. Game 2. This one, the classic 5 points in I want to say cross. Yeah, cross. 1 in the center and 4 quadrants.
Correct. Yep. Bobby calls this mission, did I hear you say supplies? And this one was a little, again, a lot of these games come down to the secondaries because they do margin of victory for scoring. It's how many supply points do you have more than your opponent is where you start to score your stuff. And the secondaries in this one were a little bit punishing, right? So obviously, if you kill him to a man, you get extra points. If your highest BV survived, you get extra points. If your enemy's highest BV unit was destroyed, you get extra points. And if none of your units were destroyed or take structure damage, you get an extra point. The objective modifiers are if you can hold 4 points in the same turn, you get 3 additional objective points, which hurts really bad because not only are you going to score 4 objectives, you're going to get an additional 3 on top of it.
This is one of those cases where the winner gets richer and the poorer gets poorer. And
because it's margin of victory, it feels like a really hard swing if you can pull it off. So this one,
me and you have always been on the same mind of the secondary should be able to be scored independently of the primary mission. They should not be additionals to the primary. Like, hey, you got all 5 points. Guess what? That's a secondary. And it's like, well, I'm already winning. He just has one guy with one leg crawling to his backfield. It's like that. Yeah.
It's the win harder never feels great for your opponent. So how did you do?
I got to play Jeff, also known as Tweezer from the Coolant Pod podcast. So guess what? You can listen to his version of the same story on his podcast over there.
I can't wait to see what the differences are.
I can't wait either. I really can't. I've never gotten the opportunity to play someone that also gets to talk about it like that. So Jeff brought his blood spirits, and a lot of it was clan mishmash. I know there was a blood kite. I know there was a demolisher. I know there was a Phoenix Hawk 2C. And a few other weird blood spirity mechs, but he also had some proto-mechs.
Proto-mech on proto-mech violence.
I know. I was like, this one was meant to be. The only real part about this is just how bloody we were fighting over all the objectives. Like, completely, like, throwing men into a grinder, like both of us. Except the only difference is I had lights and mediums on top of my like protos and assault and heavies, and Jeff only had like assault and heavies and protos. Like, he had no middle ground.
Sure.
And by the end of it, I have a Supernova, a Griffin 2C, an Arctic Cheetah, and I want to say like 2 proto mechs versus his like very wounded assaults. And it's like, okay, it's the middle weight class that really carried me through on this one, because we traded our heavies on the middle objectives. I traded my like super lights on his back objectives. And by the end of it, it's just whoever's left, except whoever's left for me was the guys that could still move onto objectives.
Well, that's it. I mean, you just had so many more guys, and because you had, really, you had 5 protomechs, which is a ton.
Yeah.
Your protomechs could go contest objectives by themselves. Right.
I think he had 5 as well.
Did he have a full set?
Yeah. There was one turn where he like moved 2 of them, and the Supernova stood still, fired at long range, needed like 10s, but he clipped 1, killed it. The Supernova would then transition to his, I want to say Nightshade VTOL, also needing like 11s. Me hits that, rolls the immobilize, crashes, does the other damage. It's like, Supernova, you do great in the back line, just rolling for 11s. I love you. You're great.
Hey, if it works. It works.
So yeah, it was bloody. I think both of our brains just shut off on turn 3, and I want to say both of our dice kind of like went a little cooler on turn 3. So it really was just that, who's left, who's not dead. Oh, great, it's Josh with the light things.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a similar experience in my game.
Mhm.
I played Sean Griffin.
Mhm.
Super nice guy. Super nice guy. He brought a Hell's Horses list that consisted of a Hammerhead, a Corvus 2, a Cauldronborn, the same Loki Mark II that does 10 damage in short range. I was real tired of seeing that. The Hellion E, an Axle Heavy Tank 2C that I have never seen before.
Huh.
A Hatchetman fire support tank that I had never seen before.
Those are fun.
That's one word for them. Absolutely not. He had an Epona pursuit tank, right? Which everyone knows the Epona, right? The one that does the heat.
So fun.
And
daring today, Squidward.
I know. And he had 2 Black Wolf battle armor plasma, which I had not seen those before. Those were new to me.
You know what? That opponent E ain't looking too daring today anymore.
I mean, they do 1 heat at medium range, which is really the problem. I mean, they're 18 points, but they only jump 2 inches. So,
but they're stealth, aren't they? There's something nasty about them that I'm
there's
trying to
RCA.
remember.
They have RCA.
Okay, maybe that's it. That's fine.
know.
That's fine.
But,
last time I encountered them, I fought them with Wolfen as the deploying unit.
Oh,
like,
God.
Yeah, so it's like, do I shoot the bad battle armor or the bad mech?
Well, so the Black Wolves didn't survive past turn 1. Sean made 1 fatal mistake. Actually, that's not true. That's new. There are 3 turning points in this game that I will mention that really swung it against Sean. The first one is the first turn he hid most of his stuff, so my Kingfisher couldn't see anything. So I moved up. I took my 2 objectives on my side. Kingfisher went straight up the middle, but he hid everything. So the only thing that I could see were his battle armor that he placed on top of a building. So everything shot the battle armor because it's all I could see. Yeah. And we destroyed both battle armor very early, which means they never got to do their heat. They never really got to pester me in the back line. They just died. The second big thing in this game is I got this. This is the 112, the through armor crit that changed the game in a very, very serious way. That Axle Heavy Tank does 444 and it was skill 3, right? So his whole goal was park it near the middle of the map and just fire it at everything every turn.
Yeah.
Because he was going to hull down, right? So he hulled down, which means he was effectively skill 2, shooting 4 damage at long range every turn with the TMM of 1. Well, a cover of 1 because he's hull down. I got a lucky 12, lucky crit, crew killed. So on turn 2, I just nuked this tank that was a huge fire support for him on the, I guess from my perspective, the left side of the map. As soon as that happened, he just started to crumble, right? Because I killed, it's like you got a couple of heavy hits and then you killed this tank. After that, unfortunately, this is where the secondaries really hurt him because he moved off of one of the objectives to try to come chase me off the center. But at that point, the Kingfisher was well established and just stood still and started obliterating stuff. And because he moved off, it left the 4th objective available for 4 uninterrupted turns. I held 4 objectives because I just didn't, I wasn't milking it, but I was killing stuff every turn. But because of where he'd positioned, I only had 1 or 2 units that could see things every turn.
Yeah.
Which was unfortunately the wrong thing for him to do because he had earned 6 objective points, right? He held the back 2 for the first 3 turns. But then because his margin of victory, those 4 turns where I tried to kill him down to end the game, I ended up getting 12, 16 points uninterrupted, plus the extra ones. The margin of victory made it so I had beaten him so badly that I got all of the victory points and he got none. And then he failed to get any secondary objectives, so I ended up beating him 29-0, which felt awful. I did not mean to do that to Sean. He was a super nice guy. I didn't want to have it go down like that, but
it's just the way this mission works.
Yeah, I'm just not going to move my guys off the objective because that's the game. So, Sean, you fought valiantly, and I'm sorry that happened, but you were a good sport about it, and I appreciate it very much. So, we get to our last game of the day.
So glad that there are only 3 per day now.
I'm going to be honest, Josh. I miss the Game 4 collective delirium. Everyone
I do too, because it's like, it really is that separation of marathon runners and like sprinters. It's like, I could do this all day, the meme. And it's like, oh, we're not doing it all day. Unfortunately, spoiler, we do play 4 Alpha Strike games this day, just not for the tournament. And that was a mistake. So
yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But no, so yeah, game 3 was 3 objective points across the board. So we go from 5 to 3, and this is just the center line, right? Get to the center line, hold those objectives, don't give them up. And I mean, this is classic. We play this almost every year, right? But we were talking about that 4th game, and I missed the collective. Like, everyone's in a weird headspace. No one's thinking straight. You're all kind of punch drunk a little bit. And there's a special bonding, like, trauma that everyone experiences in game 4 on the same day. And that, I miss that. That's fun. I like that a lot. So I understand people want to be like, cogent and planning and tactical, but it's not quite the same when you break it up into 2 games of 3 or 2 days of 3.
Yeah. So how did your last game of day 1 go, Steve?
This is where the tournament for me starts to go a little sideways. Because
sideways.
Well, okay. I played Aron. Fun game. Had a remarkable time. Played Sean. Had a remarkable game. A lot of fun. Nice dude. Because I scored the way I did on game 2, I found myself in a place that no one wants to be in.
You're at the front of the pack.
That's near the top.
You're
right?
with the Predators now.
I was like, oh no, I just wanted to have fun. I wanted to bring birds and do silly bird things.
You got to lose game 1 if you want to have fun.
I guess so, man. But I played James Hemstock. And for those of you that don't know, if you listen back to some of the old episodes for Southern Assault, James is a very good player. And I don't mean to suggest that James gave me a bad game. It just meant that I had to really pay attention to what I was doing, because otherwise I was about to get my lunch eaten. And James is very, very good. He brought Nova Cats, and he brought just 8 mechs, right?
Yep.
The Gladiator H.
That's a classic James list.
Yeah, that's it. Look, but he's good at what he does. He knows his craft, and he is dangerous. Gladiator H, Thor H, Crossbow B, Loki D, Vulture E, Hellhound 4, Griffin 2C, and a Dragonfly F. A lot of very efficient mechs. Not a lot wasted on long range in that list. He had the Vulture E, the Mad Dog E has that 333 flak. So he's looking for VTOLs. A lot of 550 damage. The crossbow, the Thor, and the Gladiator all do 550, and the Hellhound does a 550 profile. So it's just very efficient. And when you have to get to the middle of the map, it was pretty scary, because you have to close with these things to score. I think the big what do we do in this game is we ended up on a lava map. And this is, we're both kind of like, I don't know what to do with this. Do you know the lava rules? Not really. You want to call it water? Like, also not really, but it's a physical, it's not just like printed on the map. It's like Bobby put a physical terrain piece there. We're like, we got to call it water just to call it water, because we can't, we don't want to play with lava. I'm not doing that right now, but we'll call it water for purposes of the map. And the hills, there was one point on the middle hill that turned into a bloodbath. He kept one objective on the left, I kept mine on the right, and the middle was just a bloodbath. I think the real gem in this mission, he charged his gladiator onto the center point, and I had 3 guys. I had my Vapor Eagle, the Carrion Crow, and I think it was the War Crow. No, it was the Dark Crow. Got the wrong crow.
Too many crows, man.
Too many crows. They were all in the center objective, and they all dumped fire into this gladiator, because it needed to go. It needed to go because I needed the point for the points. And the last Dark Crow shot it and left 1 structure remaining.
Oh,
but I had to roll my critical hit, and I rolled a 12. And I blew his face off with 1 structure remaining. And I was like, that that's what I needed. That was the break I needed to get up just a little bit. And we ended up winning that game 20-18. But that was a heck of a fight. And, James put up a great, I was sweating for most of that game. It was a very tight game.
Oh, yeah.
So, and it was one of those games where, when you're doing the scoring, I just eked out. Nope. It was on secondaries. And what it was is in the secondaries here, it's like your highest unit doesn't hold a strategic point. Your smallest one does. You destroyed an undamaged unit standing on a point. You say the silly line, the Sun Tzu, you are weak line. If your opponent earned less than 4 strategic points at any time, that's another 3 points, which we both got. So it was tied. We did ties on objective points, ties on all the battle modifiers, and ties on the objective point modifier. The one that made a difference is on turn 1 of the game. I guess technically turn 2 because you couldn't score on turn 1. But on turn 2 of the game, I held 2 strategic points at the end of the first round. And then it was a full-on brawl because I managed to get that 1 point. That gave me the 2 secondary objectives that I needed to win the game. So we did have one little kerfuffle.
Oh, no.
And this was actually one of these things that it ended up being kind of like an almost feels bad scenario to a pretty decent game. The secondary objective we just talked about, which is have your lowest point unit score.
Mm-hmm.
I went out of my way to hunt down and kill his Griffin 2C because it was only 36 points.
Yeah.
His Loki D was also 36 points. And to James's credit, James said, hey, at the beginning of the game, I mentioned that my Loki was my lowest point unit. I didn't recall that. And I said, I know we talked about our highest point units, but I did not recall the lowest point conversation. And frankly, at this point, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And when James says, he says, hey, that's my lowest point. I went, I don't know if you declared that. I thought I went and killed one. He goes, I thought I did. I normally do. And I said, I know, James, you're an excellent player. I know you would normally clarify that, but we'll roll off. I said, we're just going to roll because there's no good way. The game is over and there's no good way to solve this. So we just rolled off and he won. So his lightest point unit held an objective, which made a tie. And that's where I was like, oh no, a tie versus a win off of one roll doesn't necessarily feel great. But then we found out that, I had held 2 objectives at the same time when we were doing the secondaries. So It ultimately didn't matter. It was a great game regardless. So James, I'm not gonna lie, if you're listening, man, that you were scary. And I was like, oh no, I gotta fight James. I'm not ready for this.
So what I've started doing, because unfortunately when you take Protomechs, they all look the exact same. So even if I say, oh, it's the Chrysaor 2 that's the lowest point one, they're like, all right, cool. But these 5 Protomechs all have the exact same paint job. I was like, no, they're all uniquely different. I'm like, I'm not doing any of that anymore. I just have a clear acrylic, like bigger, not a bigger hex, but it's like a faction logo that I got from one of the tournaments for like objectives. And it works great. I just put my model on top of that. So now there's this giant circular logoed starburst around it that my mech sits on, in this case, the Protomech. So it's like, you can easily see this is on a different base. There's a bright color, 100% noticeable.
That's smart. Yeah. I mean, it identifies it for your opponent. And that's a big thing Bobby does. It's all about openness. You can look at anyone's sheet at any time. You can, ask questions about it because you got to make tactical decisions sometimes. So that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, I feel like there needs to be like your lowest cost unit must be cheaper. Must be explicitly clear.
I mean, I think the thing for James was that they were both, they were different mechs. It wasn't like he doubled up on something. It just happened that they were both 36 points. But, yeah, it was fun. How did your game go?
I played Chucky Stocky, and Chucky took Ghost Bears, and I fought on the snowy map, and Chucky took a Mastodon B, which does 882 with I want to say 10 or 12 armor and 12 structure. Like, it's stupid thick. Summoner M, a Vulture E, your Flak Boy, Ryuk and F, Stormcrow that does heat. that can die in a plasma fire. Blackhawk L, the heat one, also dies in a fire.
Oh, terrible.
Yeah. Ice Ferret J, 760, 65 points, moves 20 inches, should be way more expensive still. Dragonfly F, the 530 Team M4 one. And then just a little Fire Falcon that moves 20 inches. And, I don't know, 2 elementals with flamers. So nothing. Nothing. I was like, I'm tired of this, man. I'm tired of this. Thankfully, it's 3 objectives, and I know how to do 3 objectives. You don't go for all 3 objectives.
You always go for all 3, Josh. I thought that's what our claim to fame was.
Okay,
always
well, I tried turn 1, and guess what? He throws 2 heat on the Supernova and 2 heat on the Jump Strong Nova Cat, and I was like, I need.
It's a calculated risk, but man, I'm bad at math.
It's just like from long range, it's like, okay, he might hit 1, he might hit 2. Nope, 2 on your big guy and 2 on your next big guy. I was like, I love how heat is in Alpha Strike. Yes, this is so fun and engaging.
Well,
so yeah, we'll get to that. But I had to really play on my maneuverability and ability to overkill things, unlike him, where he had a lot of points tied up in a few things. All my guys are roughly the same, except the Protomex. But the Protomex died pretty early on. Like, he was like, oh, that's a Protomex that's going to be on an objective. I'm going to kill that with my 5 damage and short Dragonfly.
Yep.
Which is technically the correct move. Like, nothing against that, but it's just I had to trade models to wear his models down. By the end of it, I had just my few big guys left holding the objectives. They were holding, but they weren't for long. I think my Huntsman threw 1 heat on his Mastodon, and it was just like, yeah, you take that, big boy. You take your 1 heat that my whole list does. But I did win this one, 19-12. Chucky made the mistake of putting his Mastodon on an objective.
Oh, the biggest unit.
His biggest, most expensive unit onto an objective. And I was like, I saw him moving towards it, and I was like, well, he's just going to stop outside of range. And then he moved it on. And I was like, okay. I mean, literally the Sun Tzu quote doesn't say, when your enemy is making a mistake, let him do it. But I was like, he might be doing something I don't know, like setting up. Because that objective was in woods, and it was the most juicy looking objective, and I went for the other ones. I went for the middle and the mountain one.
I mean, at the same time, I think I understand what he's doing. If you can get a big unit on that objective early enough and you can just anchor on it, you will make up more points using margin of victory if you get enough turns in by sacrificing the 1 point for your unit didn't. I'm sorry, it's 2 points for your highest unit did not hold an objective for the entire game. If he can hold it for 6-7 turns,
we only got to turn 4.
Well, I know, but I'm saying like it's a gamble, right? If you can get your margin of victory higher than your opponent, you will earn more points than you would lose in the secondary.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I had to do a couple of those calculations in the middle of a game before, like, how much am I going to lose by doing this? How much will I gain?
Oh, 100%. But I was like, that's not the right move, because he already had this was the game where his Ice Ferret J goes behind my Supernova, does 8 points of damage in the rear. I was like, yes, well balanced, love it. And then thank Blake, I think my Orc Cheetah just goes up to him and is like, I got 3 shots. One of them's a 12. Oh no, it's a fire control hit. Go back to Blake, protect me. Go away, Ice Ferret J. And he's
You're banished.
Yeah, no, really. I needed that. And then same thing for his heat mechs. He was like, oh, well, they're just going to sit in wood and pecker you on the objectives. I was like, fine. I don't need to shoot you anyways.
I just need to stand here and get points. That's it.
So game ended. I was glad it was over. It wasn't even a bad list. It's just great. I don't really want to have fun fighting heat and Mastodons and Ice Ferret J's and, jump Dragonflies. You have a do lots of damage in rear and then bricks up front list, which is just bleh.
Yeah. How'd it turn out?
Like I said, 19-12 win. So I'm happy that it's over. I'm tired of playing heat Ghost Bear list. I don't know what it is about Ghost Bear players, but they always are like, oh, I take thick boys and heat.
I mean, that's kind of the gimmick. I mean, that's really very Ghostberry, right?
No, it's Ghostberry because the Ghostberry players take it. It's not Ghostberry itself.
Okay. I mean, them and Hell's Horses have a tendency to have a lot of heat.
Yeah.
But that's the end of day one.
Yeah. Yeah, we finished day one. Woo! Wasn't that so much fun? We totally, went to bed at a reasonable hour, brushed our teeth.
Lies,
they said.
Lies.
I'm tired, Grandpa. I'm too tired, Grandpa, and that's too darn bad, kid.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun, though. We got dinner. And then what's nice about having it at a convention is everybody came back to the same room.
Yeah, that
we
was
just hung out.
Part.
Like, because before it was like, all right, we leave the school, you got to go find dinner, you break up, and then there's no third party place to be. There's nowhere to go hang out where you can all hang out in a group. Here at the convention, we could all just go back to the room and talk to whoever, whenever, check out the store, and just chat. And because you're not in a school, you can just bring your beers from your room to the convention hall and you can just hang out. So we had a lot of fun.
It was the best part. The only problem with the hotel was the restaurant at the hotel was not open every night. And I was like, why not? What's the point?
I mean, that's true. We did have to go venture out and find food, but
thankfully it was like across the shopping center and not.
Yeah, the location for this place was great. There was a lot of different food options right there. There was a grocery store you could buy from. It was very nice.
Come on, Steve. The best one was the Arby's, of course.
They have meats.
They're
not sponsoring the podcast, so I will refrain from.
They would. They should.
If someone knows an Arby rep that can get me free Arby's, we should talk.
Only from the Mega Arby's located in Colonial Heights, Virginia.
Was that the big one
that is the big one? Yeah.
Has like a tree inside of it?
That is my home Arby's, sir.
Wild.
It has a fireplace in it.
That's too fancy for an Arby's.
Yeah, I know. That's the meetup place for like family and stuff.
Wow.
Makes the Red Lobster look like real low tier right next door.
Rude. Yeah. Rude.
Game 4. Woo!
We came back the next morning. We were definitely not mind fogged. Again,
I wasn't. I was great.
That was much better day 2.
My performance enhancing cocktail: ibuprofen, melatonin, Claritin, Nasacort, electrolytes.
What's plants crave?
Yeah. You needed it. When you're in your 30s, kid, you'll understand. So, game 4, I'm playing on the lava map that you played on earlier, and I had that same discussion with my opponent. It was like, water? And I was like, well, it benefits me, but I guess, all right, it can be water.
Sure.
Yeah. But I'm playing Brian Kirby II and his Lyrans. Brian.
This list.
Yeah. Yep. Steve, I know you fought it later in your life, but I had to fight it first. This list is a list. This list is one that should not see the light of day after being taken. Steve, how did you feel? Well, you know what? No. I want to know how you feel when you feel it.
You will know.
Yeah.
You will know.
The list, let's just say it. It's 2 Stealth Karnovs. It's 2 Balak Vitals. It's 2 Fenrir battle armor. It's 2 Fenrir 2 battle armor. 2 J. Edgars. A Greyhound SA4. A Havoc. A Black Lantern. And a Quick Draw.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to scream when I saw this, but I was also a little happy, Steve. I need to be completely honest with the universe right now. It's because when we went into day 4, when we went into day 2, game 4, Bobby put those list like placements up on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
I was in 5th. You were in 4th.
I think it was in 2nd. I was right behind Bill.
Okay. Yeah. We were up there. And I was like you had said earlier, you did a little too good game 2, and then you were starting to like play the actual like hyper competitive people, and it's like if you make a mistake you get punished. And I was like, I looked at this list and I was like, my list got no answers to this.
I'm about to be punished for my sins.
Yeah. So the mission is 6 objectives in essentially a hex,
ring around the middle.
Yeah. And we had to roll at the start of our turn a 1d6, and whichever the objectives I rolled is my priority objective, which is worth, I think, 3 total victory points.
Correct.
And my opponent, Brian, also every turn rolls, and he has a completely separate one, or the same. Never came up in ours, but yeah. So
this is game 4. This is where Bobby always introduces the twist.
New concept.
Right? It's the new game idea. And honestly, this
the
mission was fine. It wasn't that bad. I know a lot of people griped that, the random nature of your priority target changing every turn made counterplay really difficult if it ended up on your opponent's side of the map, which is true. But at the same time, it's no different than a signal trace mission or anything like that. I didn't hate it. It felt decent.
And the scoring for the objective was based on amount of size there. So you total up your size of units. So battle armor is size 1 and assault mech size 4. If you have 2 of those, it's size 5. And then you add up your opponents. So they have 2 mediums mechs. That's 2 size 2s. That's a size 4. You control the objective.
Right.
I was like, okay, cool. I got a whole bunch of size 1s. Then the Flight of the Valkyries comes on, and next thing you know, it's like, oh, there's 4 Fenrir 2s on this objective. That's plus the Karnov. That's size 6. And I just got like 2 proto-mechs on there. Oh, God, why is it screaming? Why is the air spicy?
That was... Yeah. I take it didn't go well.
I killed like 3 things. I killed 3 of his Fenrir 2 battle armors, and I don't think I killed anything else except maybe 1 landed VTOL. Maybe. That whole game I'm trying to still cry myself to sleep over. I gave it my best, and Brian, to his credit, was an amazing player, a wonderful sportsman, and when I didn't roll anything above a 9, like I don't think I rolled anything above an 8 for like 2 turns, and considering most of his list is TMM 3 or 4 or higher.
His entire list is TMM 3, but for those Fenrirs, everything is TMM 3 or higher. It was brutal.
There was a turn where my Supernova sat still at medium range, fired on his Havoc, and I think I did 1 damage. I overheated too, so it's like,
man,
like I was like, I'm rolling 8 dice. I got this. 4. Oh no, we stood still. Skill 3 plus 2. That's 5. Oh, your team M3. That's 8s. And I rolled 1 damage, man. And Brian at the end of that game said, Josh, I just need to know that was the most like professional anyone has acted while watching their dice actively work against them. And you did nothing to like, you showed no anger toward me, and I appreciate that. And I was like, Brian, no, I need you to know, pleasure playing you. Never want to play you again. Nothing about you, though. Like, I understand. My dice were just like, yeah, we're already a little too high up. Josh is going to play this as close as he can, but we're not going to hit anything this game. So it's not really even worth really talking about, except Brian whooped me.
It's all right. Yeah. It's all right. What was the
Lyran Air Cavalry like humbled me, and I was like, I don't like it. The Greyhound even like melee chopped my Arctic Cheetah in half. Like that's how awesome his game was versus my game of like, we stand still to try to hit on 8s. All right, 1 damage.
Moving on.
Like, no, literally, I was like, hey, I'm gonna just get them all out now. All right, that's 2 damage across my whole list. Please keep going. I lost 9-27, which is not as bad as being essentially tabled is.
That's fair. But I mean, look,
I'll take a 9-27 loss against that list.
The nice thing about Southern Assault is it's about points and it's not about win-loss.
Yep.
So you can take a loss and still do fine. So you're not out of the running yet. You just got to do well your last couple of games.
Yeah. I didn't roll over and die. I gave it my best, and Brian was like, your dice weren't doing it.
Yeah.
It was a tough, it was an uphill battle, and your dice were not helping you at all. So, Steve, how did your game 4 go? Hopefully just as astounding as mine, right?
Well, I got to play Bill Kim, who I'm sure most people know is an extremely good Alpha Strike player. He is very good at list building, and he he knows what he's doing. I was not thrilled when I saw that I was, right underneath him at the top of the day, because I didn't want to do that, and he brought a Cfox list that I want you to listen to this, because this is like Brian's, but different and maybe worse. I don't know. Cave Lion.
Reflective armor. Okay, yeah.
554 for 50 points with reflective armor. A Blackhawk L, which is the 220 Heat 222.
Yeah, that one can die in a fire.
The Sphinx 3, which for 59 points does 880.
Yeah, in Classic, that's, I want to say, just ER mediums. Like the whole thing. It's the custom mech that Denim fought on a 70-tonner.
He had a Pouncer F that was a 220 221 Heat.
Yep.
He had the Ostrock 6R, which is a 552 with reflective. He brought a Dasher H. He brought a Dasher P. We had the Wendigo Prime, that's a 551 with more reflective armor. 2 SRM Carrier Cs, which are the upgraded clan variants, so they have turret, and they're 660 for 30 points. And he had the Pike Support Vehicle Plasma, which is 110 damage profile for 19 points, but does 222 heat. So the entire list was heat and reflective armor. And 2 SRM carriers and a Sphinx.
And a whole lot of damage.
And damage.
Do I go on my tirade now, my little soapbox, Steve, or do we save that for the end?
We should save that for the end.
Okay. All right. Insert Josh note here, listeners.
This will all become relevant later. So this, as you can imagine, was an absolute monster of a list to fight. I looked at this and I'm like, I have no answer to this. I don't. I just do damage. I don't have any gimmicks. I don't have any cool things. I need 12s. I need something that's going to pull me out of this. And what ends up happening is we roll for objective. My Kingfisher gets automatic heat every turn. Every turn, my Kingfisher's just a little roasty toasty. He can't hit squat. He's not rolling very well. At this point, I just use him as a chunk of steel, and I put him on an objective, and I leave him there. And I'm like, he's not going to fire for this turn. He's going to dump his heat, and I'll get an objective point, right? He's size 4, so if he really wants to invest in something getting that close, I will try to put damage on it, but he needs to stay active to contest the point. It's brutal. I get very fortunate. I focus down his SRM carriers early, which is what I need to do. I need to cut his damage down.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is the sole thing that kept me in this game, because I was getting hot all over the place, but I wasn't dying while I was hot because I kind of took out a lot of his heavy damage dealers. Unfortunately, there were 2 turns in this game that my objective floated to his side of the map, and that meant that I couldn't get those points. The real highlight in this game, he shot my Carrion Crow and left it with 1 structure remaining.
Oh.
So it's still alive. He'd already taken a weapon crit, so he's only doing 220 damage, right? I go, this is not great. They call 15 minutes. We're like, all right, we're on our last turn. His main objective floats to his icon number 1. That's where his untouched Wendigo Prime is sitting, right? But it's alone. And it's within 14 inches of my Carrion Crow.
Oh, boy.
You know what that Wendigo has, Josh?
Reflective armor.
Do you know what a 1 structure Carrion Crow can do to a Wendigo that's within 14 inches?
Oh, my math's trying to do it, but Steve, help me out here. The SATs were a long time ago.
The Carrion Crow can charge. So you charge, but I could get to his rear, and this is important. So the size is 2, plus 1 for rear, plus 1 for charge is 8. Is 4. Doubled for reflective armor makes 8 damage. Do you know how much health the Wendigo Prime has?
I'm going to go with 8.
5 armor, 3 structure. And they changed the rules. All right. So there's an errata that states that RFA applies to all damage suffered in the turn, even if you get into internal structure that turn. It is still sense. Reduced.
Yeah,
right?
Simultaneous.
Correct. Which actually helped me here, because otherwise I would not have done enough damage to kill it. but I have to roll on the charge table all or nothing, 8 up.
I'll take those. I'll take that bet.
It's a good deal.
It's a good deal.
I rolled, hit that sweet 9. The Wendigo is obliterated in a cloud of blood and guts. And of course, because you charged, you take 1 damage. So my Carrion Crow kills itself to kill the Wendigo, which I don't claim his objective, but what is more important is that I denied him 3 objective points because that was his point for
primary one. Yeah.
Yep. Ultimately, I still lose this battle, but I lost 19-17, and 2 of my objectives floated on his side of the map. I will take that loss all day.
That's not even a loss. That's a tie
day.
for Southern Assault rules.
I mean, I was so close. And honestly, having that Carrion Crow just smash him to pieces felt great. And I was like, you know what? I lost. I'm not even mad. I still got 17 points, which is pretty good for a loss. You know, I mean, I know other people were winning with less points than that. And it was great to see that charge go off and just absolutely obliterate that Wendigo. That felt fun. I mean, that felt good. I was very pleased with that. So Bill is scary, man. If you run into him, super nice guy, very intimidating on the battlefield, hard to deal with. So,
I mean, that list isn't there to make friends. Like, there's no way you can cut that. That list ain't there to make friends.
No, that's a serious list.
We want to move it on to Game 5, Mr. Steve.
We can do that. We, of course, move over to Hold the Line. Everyone's favorite, get your units halfway across the map and then duke it out. We see this one a lot at Southern Assault, actually.
I mean, it's a classic. It's been there since year 1. Like, it is a very simple concept. Do you have speed to get halfway across the battlefield? Like, my super heavy tripod has enough speed to get across the middle, but that's it.
Yeah, I think the thing about this mission that I don't necessarily love is that if you're, I don't want to say if you're smart, but if you've played this mission before and you know how it functions, your goal should be sprint everyone across the map, pick one side of the map. If you deploy first, pick one side, put them all over there. If your opponent deploys first, pick the opposite side, dump all your dudes and run them all across the map. Get the secondary benefit for 3 points. That is all your units across the line, and then just brawl. Right?
It's the classic Mechwarrior Online. Well, that just turned into NASCARing. It's like, well, any game where you have to get across the other side to get around the opponent is going to turn into NASCARing eventually. Like, there's no way around it. Like, it is purely map dependent if you are not going to NASCAR.
Precisely. And, you know, Matt has played before. Matt brought Clan Seafox, but it was actually Clan Spaniel. So he put ears and tails on all of his units because the Clan Spaniel is like the fake cartoon for the Clanner kids in the Sibco.
Yep.
So he used the clan, he used a Seafox MUL, but made him Clan Spaniel.
If I remember right, all of his mechs were modeled / painted after all of his like adopted cats, right?
I don't know. He might have done that with his cat. I don't know if that was the inspiration for them, but they were all cats and dogs.
Yeah.
So living together, mass hysteria. But
what did Matt have?
Matt LeBaron brought a cave lion with reflective armor, a Sphinx 4, which to Matt's credit is not the 880 Sphinx, but I just about had a stroke when I saw it. I'm like, I just fought this list. He brought a Mad Cat 3 version 2. He brought a Mad Cat W, which is the 770 He brought the King Crab 11, which is the fast King Crab.
10 inches.
10 inches, 440, boatloads of armor. No structure, but boatloads of armor. He brought a Charger 1A1, everyone's favorite Black Hawk L that shoots heat, the Hellion P, and the Novacat H. No, but like, you know, my Vapor Eagle picked up a fire control hit early, which was not great. And because we had a lava map that was just kind of open in the middle, we didn't have a lot of counterplay. There wasn't a lot of stuff to hide behind or move to. So you just kind of planked at each other from across the map. And the big hurt for me was that he had one pool of water in the middle of the map, like on the middle of his side that he could sit in for partial cover and overheating purposes. So we could just throw a couple more dice. And I tried to get clever. I took my Nova and swung it around the back end to shoot his king crab. And I moved it too early. And he had one dude that could move after the fact, and he got perfect shots on my Nova and killed it. My Nova overheated for 9 and wiped king crab off the map, which was great.
Yeah, but
at the end, we ended up in that weird split of points where he had just enough. I think he had like 54 points or something like that, which was over the 51 BV difference for the split. So he got 12 and I got 10. So it wasn't a tie. It was a 12 to 10 split as opposed to a 10 to 10 split. We got all the secondaries. So I ended up losing 19 to 17 against Matt. And at this point in time, after playing Bill's list that was very good and playing Matt's list that was very good, I'm not going to lie, I was getting a little upset. Not bad, but it's one of those, you're starting to get kind of hopeless. You're like, I am about to go up against another like horrible list. I'm about to go up against something else. It's just going to like break my spirit. I did really well with 3 wins game 1. Not that the game 4 and 5 and day 2 were bad, but they were tight. But I just,
once you get to a certain point, you're fighting, I don't want to say the same list, but you're fighting the same list concepts that have solved the optimizations of Alpha Strike. Because there's the point building in Alpha Strike is pretty tight, but there are a few things that are like heat is undercosted. All right, reflective armor undercosted. Like team differences per mech when like short range bonuses, brawler discounts. Like once you factor all those in, it's like, all right, I'm seeing like this is your take on the optimization equation. Like, okay.
Yep. So, I mean, again, kudos to Matt. It was a good game. He won. He got better shots. I mean, he had more damage sitting in water, and I took some bad crits. But this is that game where like I'm rolling 12s, I'm getting internals, and I hit 0 critical hits. I mean, I don't think I actually got any real critical hits. I rolled so many 5s and 9s that I started to, get frustrated because I even changed dice. It's not like it was the same pair letting me down. It was just, over and over again. But
I mean, what is it? 5 and 9s are like, if you add them together, it's what, half the thing? It's like, it might as well just be the 8-up crit roll thing for Alpha Strike. Like, oh, nope, it's a 7. Like, no. But
so, yeah, it was okay. It was okay. How about you?
Well, because I lost harder than you did your last game. I'm in the fun people zone, and I'm playing Kevin Whalen, his Clan Wolf Mechs.
We love Kevin.
Everyone loves Kevin. I played Kevin last during the original football mission, and as we all remember, Kevin was not the same person, and he once again apologized for that. And I'm like, Kevin, it's okay. I'm just glad to see you back to your original self now. So,
no, Kevin's a sweetheart. We love Kevin, and I played Kevin my last game in 2023 when I won best overall, and I think I may have told the story before, but I was giving out Jade Falcon bond cords that year. And because I was first in the prize pool, I had to pick up all these prizes along the line. I was running out of space in my arms. And my local friend, Kevin, who was with us, is like, looks like you need a bondsman to carry your stuff. This Kevin, without a second thought, jumped up, came over and carried all my prizes for me as I walked down the line. Aww. It was amazing. Kevin is a sweetheart. And if you have the opportunity to play Kevin, you should absolutely take it because he is such a nice guy. So he brought Clan Wolf, which I assume he really likes those Wolfen. He brought them against me too. Did he bring them again?
He only took one Wolfen and one Black Wolf, but let me go. He brought Mad Cat, Summoner, Stormcrow, and that's when he took the Wolfy stuff of the Wolfen, 2 Balak VTOLs, a Hephaestus hover tank, some Warg battle armor, and some Black Wolf battle armor. So
okay,
it's like normal Clan Wolf, and then it starts to get weird. Things are getting weird, Jerry.
Yeah, the Wolfen is ugly. The Balaks are ugly.
I just want to see different VTOLs than Balix. Like
They're so good. They're so good.
No,
Why
I know.
else?
It's just like, guys, there's like 1,400 other VTOLs. I promise you.
I know. But how'd it go?
It was good. So we both had the turn one truce of like, hey, we're trying to get across the line. It's free points. And it's like, yeah, I'm clan, you're clan. Like, we're both going to get across at the exact same time. It doesn't matter. So we do. And then it's like, we're like, but turn two, we're going to full on. I was like, oh, totally. It's just, I don't want to have to spend. We were also on a city urban map. And I was like, we both were kind of like, I don't want to have to like toe in and like measure angles on every single shot. If we get to turn two, we don't have to worry about that. And I was like, that's true. So it's also in my interest to just like, for speed of play, to just like turn one, we move up. I also have to note that this one has an 8-inch deployment zone, and I really think we either just need to standardize 6 inches or just walk on for Southern Assault going forward. Because it's like, all right, by game 5, I'm like, what's the deployment zone for this? Is it the same? Nope. Okay, what is it? It's different. I can't even use my Southern Assault measuring 6-inch tool. Come on.
This one threw me for a loop, especially since the goal is to get across the middle.
Yeah,
I understand the rationale. It's give stuff like the Ares a little bit of an extra bump so you're not automatically losing, because like, oh, at 4 inches it'll be long dead before it crosses the center.
You can sprint it for 6. Unless you get hit by heat, then you ain't moving at all.
But that's just it, right? So it's like the idea is like give the super heavies a chance to cross the middle, but at the same time, everything else starting 8 inches
super
up
heavies, you're not taking it to get across the middle. You know, oh man, there's gonna be one mission where I don't do great. That's okay. I'm still taking 2 super heavies or 3. You know who you are, Evan Daniels.
So, yeah. I agree. It threw me off. I'm like, why is it 8 instead of 6? But I didn't mind. It means I could get across while sprinting on turn 2. So
yeah. So turn 2 rolls up. That's when the fun stuff starts happening. I throw 3 of my Protomechs in the back of his Timberwolf because that's what they do. And Kevin, I won initiative. Kevin then spends. It wasn't 20 minutes, but it like jokingly feels like 20 minutes table time. He's like, okay, you've moved your Supernova and you moved all your other things, and you've got 1 unit left to move. So I'm going to put my Balak in your Supernova, or maybe your Nova Cat. And I was like, after like probably 5 actual game minutes, I just go to Kevin. It's like, Kevin, it's okay. Here's your options. You either put the Balak into the Supernova or the Balak into this guy. But here's the thing. No matter where you go, the Huntsman has flak, and the battle armor that are on the Huntsman have flak. So no matter what, I'm going to get at least 3 flak shots onto your Balak.
In short range.
Yeah. And if those don't do it, I've got, the Nova Cat E with 9 damage in short and 7 in medium. So I'm just going to throw a bucket of dice and hope I get lucky. And he's like, yeah, you're right. And I was like, all right, put it on the clock, Kevin. 30 seconds. Make your choice. And he chooses the Supernova. I was like, that's the correct choice. Like, you don't need to think hard about it. Like, you either get it or you don't. So I then do exactly what I did, which is deploy the Huntsman and jump the Thunderbird battle armor off. And I'm like, cool. The other Balak goes to the Jenner 2C, and the Nova Cat goes to shoot at one of them. It's like, cool. We all knew what was happening. We don't have to like secret SAT it. Don't worry. And then exactly what I said happened. Those Thunderbird battle armor shoot a single flak round. They hit his Balak VTOL. I roll an 11 for the emotive. Goes immobile. It crashes, does another damage. The Nova Cat then shoots it while still in air TMM, I should say. I roll an 11, so I hit it normally. I get a crit. I get a 2. That is ammo explosion. Balaks have case, but they still have only 4 health, so that does the next 4th. So I'm like, Kevin, we just spent 20 minutes, quote unquote, of game time. It's all over in 5 seconds.
Right? That's how it goes.
Yeah. Oh, no. I was just like, that is the quintessential Battletech experience. All of your tactics mean nothing when the other guy you're playing against just rolls 11s.
Yeah.
But that was a great game. That was honestly the really only highlight besides just playing Kevin and him just like, man, we're trading battle armor against Timberwolves and all that. Like, I think by the end of it, I killed the BV or PV difference between us was 51 PV exactly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like, so literally it was a tie and then one crimp over the limit for me, because I won that one 19-18. It was an amazing game. It's just like we're just running past each other and just like who can hit each other harder in the 5 seconds.
That's the game.
Yeah.
That's the game. But speaking of VTOLs, you ready for game 6?
Yeah.
It's the classic.
Oh, was it Karnov down? Oh.
But this time he called it Extraction.
Oh, okay. All right.
The name was different. It was Karnov down.
Was that just for legal purposes, lawyer man?
I don't know. Bobby doesn't tell me that.
Me first, you first.
You first.
Okay. I mean, you got to send it out. How about that? You'll send it out.
All right, we'll cover the mission.
Yeah.
So
after lunch. Oh yeah. You go for the mission.
I was gonna say no. I have the game 6 classic. Played it before. Extraction, aka Karnov down. You have 2 VTOLs in the middle of the map with 4 VIPs that you need to take and get off the map if possible. Then you roll for Planetary Governor. Classic. We love it. Play it every year. How'd you do?
So I went into this one a little frustrated because my opponent showed up 15 minutes late because he got the lunchtime wrong. And I was just like so pissed because every other table is rolling and I'm still waiting for my opponent. And I'm like, this is game 6. This is when it matters. I ran out and grabbed food and ate it back here. Like, I don't know what this person doing. Then they roll up and they're trying to like, oh. And I was like, I need to see your list. I need all that. And that's when Austin and Justin from Death Ray Designs are like, hey, Josh, we need to check your painting again because we're at the like sorting everything out for the end. I was like, oh, come on. And it's like, well, we're already late on the game. I don't care about that anymore. So now I'm like talking with Justin them about paint. Then my opponent starts getting a little frustrated about that. And I was like, no, you are 15 minutes late. You don't have room to talk. This is my time now.
You're legally allowed to leave.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I said that to Bobby. It's like, it's been 15 minutes, Bobby. I'm legally allowed to call this a 35-0 win. No. But Nic, when he did get settled and did get me his list, Nic was taking, I want to say, a clan. I don't know which. He took a Dasher P, a Locust 2C, a Direwolf, 2 Aponas, and then 2 Skill 3 770 tanks that were Team M2. I don't know what they were.
Demolishers, maybe?
No, they weren't Demolishers because they were Team M2. I know exactly what you're thinking. And then he took that like clan ATM like weird tank. When you see it, you'll know it. Don't worry. And then some Golem battle armor and the stealth elementals. And I was like, ugh.
I mean, on the plus side, outside the Dasher and the Locust, I guess, and the Aponas, I mean, well, but
he's got thick boys and fast boys, but they're both annoying boys. They're all annoying. Like all of his thick boys are like 8 damage. The tanks are 7 damage. Like, okay, great.
But the fast ones are the only ones that can really get away with those governors. So, like, if you kill those, you should do okay, right?
Yeah. I mean, I did okay. It was just turn 1, I sit the Supernova and the Nova Cat like sit still to cover one objective, and all of my like protos and little boys run to the other one. It's a scrum on the big one, but on the little one, I nail his Locust 2C. I almost get it for like I get it down to 1, and I was so mad. I was like, I needed 1 more damage. I needed 1 more. But then his opponent's there, and my Chrysaor too, my littlest guy, is on the thing. And he just throws his 1 shot and he immobilizes the opponent on the VTOL. And I was like, Protomax, you have done diddly squat this entire event. But now game 6, you're going to do good. I'll take it. I just need you to know I'm pretty displeased, but I'll take it.
Right. Like better late than never. But come on, folks. So
on the other objective, it literally is a scrum. He is splitting fire with his 770 tank. and he is whiffing every time he splits fire. And I was just like so thankful because skill 3, short range in the back, like he's getting extra dice and he's splitting fire. I was like, I don't like that. I don't like being able to kill 2 things at once. But by the end of it, I nail everything except his direwolf, his 2 like big 770 tanks. I've killed everything else. I've traded all my big boys, really. And his Locust 2C got away with 1 objective. I've got a Protomech and my Jump Strong Novacat running away with 2 of mine, and an Arctic Cheetah holding the other one. So I've got really 3 VIPs. We're contesting on 1 crashed VTOL, and his direwolf is on the other. And it comes down to that last turn, and he's like, cool, I shoot 7 dice at your Protomech that just jumped with the VIP. And I was like, Blake, protect me. I'm so mad right now. He misses every single shot. He needed an 8. He missed every single one.
Hey, the dice giveth, the dice taketh away.
Same thing for the Arctic Cheetah. Shooting in the rear of the Arctic Cheetah. He fires. He does, I want to say, just 1 less than it. Yeah. It was just like, I don't need these 770 tanks anymore, man. So by the end of it, I get an 18-12. And I use I use all my luck to just get off the table the next turn. Like we played the movement phase for the next one because it didn't matter. Like we were going to contest. It was just, do I get off the board or not? Points.
Got it.
But I'm so tired.
Yeah. You think that's bad?
Steve, who did you play for Game 6?
For my Game 6, I played not Chris. His name is Brian Kirby II, which you talked about his list already, but I would have sworn on my life I called him Chris about 5 times during that game. I don't know why. I didn't see anyone named Chris. I didn't play anyone named Chris. But he looked like a Chris. I'm like, hey, Chris. He's like, I'm Brian. I'm like, oh.
Fun note, right. I wrote on my favorite opponents thing is James Kirby II. I looked back and I was like, I didn't even play any James.
It's after 6 games. We're all a little bit out of it. But no, I played Brian Kirby. And
good news is we already know his list.
Now, you wrote it down as Lyran. I have it written down as Tamar Pact, which is
technically Lyran.
Different.
It's technically Lyran. I know.
But no, again, it's that quick draw, J. Edgars, Greyhounds, Black Lanterns, Balax, Karnovs. It was so many guys. And I'm like, I'm screwed. I'm going to die. This is horrible. But Brian was very nice. He was very patient. I explained, I said, look, man, I'm coming off of 2 pretty tight losses. I am exhausted. I'm going to try not to be a jerk. And, we'll see how we do. Those Karnovs landed and dumped all their Fenrir battle armor all over 1 objective. But I had lost deployment, so I had to start putting my guys down first. And I'm like, oh no, a lot of my bigger units are on this side. And now that's bad. My poor Shadowhawk got deleted turn 1. It just consumed all of the Fenrir's fire. And those Fenrirs do 440, right? Like in short, like it was, I think 400 maybe. They do 4 in short range. It was very unpleasant. Yeah, all of them do 400, but he had some that were skill 3 instead of skill 4. I was just nightmares thinking about this game. I was very fortunate. I killed 90% of his Fenrirs in the first turn, and I killed one of the Karnovs, but his lowest Karnov grabbed an objective and got it off on turn 2, right? He just flying for 22 with TMM 4 plus VTOL plus stealth. It's not worth the shots, After the first 2 turns, things turned around, and we just started chipping away and killing things,
Yeah.
Once his one Karnov was off, we killed the other one. We killed the last of the battle armor. He did get behind me with that Greyhound with TSM. He put a little bit of heat on it, and he tried to melee my White Raven. He biffed the swing.
Oh.
He just straight missed, and I'm like, holy smokes, because what that meant that for another turn,
yeah.
Not only did I live, but I contested the objective for another turn, right? It's like, oh, this is great. And then things started to fall apart on him. It's like I had captured one of the objectives with the White Raven, and I just jumped him 10 behind a building, and there was enough stuff in the way that he couldn't follow. I took a long shot. I had to chase down his quick draw, and in the second to last turn, I killed it as it was hiding behind a building, so it drops the objective, and then my Carrion Crow could run 14 on the last turn behind the building. He couldn't get anything back there, but I could pick up his VIPs, right? So at the end of it, I had 3 of the VIPs and 1 VTOL. He had 1 VTOL and 1 guy off the board. So we had to roll. I ended up getting the governor, and I ended up winning that one 19-12. We had a couple very fortunate hits. With everything being TMM3 or better.
Oh, yeah. It's a pure luck based.
Yeah.
You are fighting on the wrong sigma of the bell curve.
Yeah, it was not good. The thing is, the Warcrow A has a little bit of flack, not much, but I did get in there and cripple, one of his Balacs, and that made a lot of difference because now it couldn't really move and I could gun it down the next turn. And he had to start falling back and hiding some stuff, which means I could kind of claim some of the objectives. So Brian was a nice dude. Not Chris was also a nice dude. And for a last game, it was intimidating going into it, but the way that it played out, it felt okay. So at the end of the tournament, I was 4 wins, 2 losses, but my losses were very, very tight against very good players. My strength of schedule was
insane.
A real tough one. Between James and Bill and Matt and I almost said Chris again, and Brian. When we go over the rankings, you'll see that these guys were top of the top. So it was well fought. And I think it turned out really well. I had a lot of fun.
I'm glad both of us got to play Brian. I'm glad both of us don't have to fight against Brian anymore.
I don't even think Brian wasn't the problem.
No, it's Brian wasn't
so
the
many
problem.
Guys. Just so many. Look, I'm looking at his list right now, right? We're looking at 8, 12, 14 units. Yeah. I think that's the cap. Is 14 the max?
16 is the 16? Cap. I took 14. He took 4. Yeah.
So, it's so many guys. It's so many targets. I didn't kill his Havoc. The Black Lantern eventually died. That thing had to go. But just so many units.
Be a lot more fun fighting against Protomechs, right, Steve?
Nope. I might have flipped a table.
You hit those, they die. That's the thing.
True.
Those come close to you. The Protomechs want to come close to you.
Yeah.
How did we do at Southern Assault this year? And more specifically, how did you do?
We did very well, I think. I think we had a very good showing. End result-wise, you did very well. I ended up in 3rd best overall and 2nd best general. But since I can only claim 1 trophy, I had to pick one of them, and I ended up selecting 2nd best general because it had a higher prize pick.
Yeah.
So I'm like, look, there's an Aces box up there that could have been grabbed. Obviously it was the first thing to go, but there was also a Karita box. And I'm like, look, if I'm going to get something, I'll try to take a higher pick just in case someone picks something else. But, we didn't know at the time. So look, doing 3rd best overall and getting 2nd best general, I felt very, very good about myself.
And you should feel good. I got 2nd overall. I felt happy. It was good. Me submitting my list on time would not have given me enough points to beat Matt, so that's the best feeling. Like, if I'm going to lose, let's make sure we don't lose on me not reading the submission dates and bonus points correctly. So, yeah. But no. It's over, though. We did well. We came. We saw. We kicked some Mechwarriors.
It's true.
Yeah, and now we have to wait a year to do it again. Breathe in, Steve. Breathe in. Breathe out.
We did it. Another year.
How did we like multiple attack roll as it's presented in the Alpha Strike rulebook? Because this was the first major event we've had where it does that.
So, right, this is the no designated crit dice. Any pair can crit. I don't know. I mean, it was fine. Would I play with it again? Absolutely. Were there a lot more crits? 100%. I saw a marked increase in a marked increase in critical hits, and I often ended up on the receiving end of those. My dice were not terribly kind to me. Would I do it again? Sure. Does it make it more exciting? Sometimes. Do I love it? Not really.
For me, I was positive because, well, there were a few times where I just needed a little bit, but it never came up that me critting something changed the game entirely. Like, the only thing I can think of against any of my opponents was me critting out that Ice Ferret J, getting a fire control. And I'm like,
right.
That's it. That is the only time they hit me and my thing lived. Or the other way, where I hit them and they lived. To me,
Sure.
when I played Brian, he's fire controlled my Supernova. And when I played Jeff Campbell Tweezer, he MP hit my Jump Strong Novacat. It's like, cool. I can play around those. Those aren't terrible. It wasn't like one-shotting mechs, which happens in Classic too. So it's not like it's not in Battletech already. It's just like, okay, now if I'm throwing a bucket of dice, I'm going to get some 12s. It just doesn't have to be on my one color of dice that I'm throwing. So I like that a lot more. It did not affect my games in any significant way.
Sure.
I tried to keep track of it. It's like, these are the 3 times out of 6 games where the mech lived to the next turn.
Yeah, I noticed that a lot too, that when things were getting crit, they were dying. Yeah. So
that's just how it is. I'm already shooting it. If I'm not shooting something I'm not going to kill, because that's wasted firepower normally. It is more advantageous to kill something that might be less tactical, so it's not around next turn, than to maybe not kill something.
Especially given that people can hide stuff, and if it is a kill mission, like, I need it dead this turn, so I don't, like, he doesn't hide it and get half points because it's crippled or something like that, right? That's also another reason to knock stuff off. So,
how much can we infer about the health of the Alpha Strike game now? Because I think I mentioned this to Joshua Franklin and C. Kestrel when he was there. I was like, hey, we haven't gotten an update to the Alpha Strike rulebook in, I want to say, 2 years.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah.
I don't know when the last printing was, but
I think the errata that we have now was already in effect for last Southern Assault. So that's at least what I'm going to buy.
Yeah. Health of the Alpha Strike game, I think, and I talked to Joshua about this a little bit and some other folks as well, I think the next big shift we would like to see is adjusted cost for heat.
Yeah.
Heat is becoming extremely prevalent in the competitive scene. I don't think it's terribly fun to play against because it doesn't do damage. It just shuts you down so you can't do anything. It's effective, no doubt, right? I mean, I'm not going to say that it's bad. It's just not the most fun I've ever had playing games. And having it appropriately costed, I think, would be valuable, right?
Yeah.
Because I see a lot of heat, and a lot of people are complaining about heat. And Ando brought
17?
At least no, not heat wise. No, Ando brought, I think, 3 super heavies. I think he had the 2 Aries and the Omega, and he fought Bill round 1. Bill just put heat on every super heavy and it just stopped moving, right? And it was it. You just shut it down and then he just killed them. And it was like, it's. I'm not saying that any other list would have been able to do that too with a little bit of heat, but Bill's list in particular had quite a bit. And, I can't imagine that was fun for Ando, right?
No, when I took my super heavy, I don't think I encountered any heat. I don't think it was like the hot thing to take that year, but when people are like building their entire list around, sometimes they do well, sometimes they don't, but it's never fun to play against that list. It is not a pleasant experience. Like, I got hit with 4 heat in one turn. That's it. And I was pretty much like, I want to flip the table right now. Just a little bit. It's like, cool, turn 1. It's like, if they had gotten 1 heat, I could still fire the next turn. And then I have to really like, okay, well, the turn after that, I'm not shooting. But no, I'm already at 50% of my shots. So if I shoot next turn and I get hit again, I just shut down. Like that's it. I was like, that's not fun. So I don't think heat is both balanced rules wise, nor especially on the Southern Assault tables where we're not playing with enough water. We're not playing with, I don't want to say quirks or other special rules that affect it, but like we are playing with a very limited rule set at Southern Assault, and heat is just the one thing that sticks out as it's not costed right, and the rules don't support it being fully integrated in the Ill Clan era where people can take 17 heat to a 375 point list, and it's just not fun. And
I mean, at Motor City, we saw someone in 300 points bring 14 heat.
Yeah, and I don't want to say now we need heat caps for list, but if heat doesn't change by next Southern Assault, I will probably either just like, yeah, I'm not gonna do it this year, or something like.
We'll see. I mean,
I think 4 heat is
problem.
Yeah, I think 4 heat in an entire list, including imagery, is probably enough. Like anything more than that is just not.
Yeah,
you're trying too hard. Kind of thing.
No, it really depends on what kind of tournament you want to be running, right? Are you looking for a more competitive, or are you looking for one that's based on having a good time? And sometimes you need to put guardrails in place if you're looking to try to protect the player experience. Right? Yeah, it just depends on what your goals are.
Yeah, like I am very lucky that in 6 games I only fought heat really once.
Yeah,
because you fought it a lot more than me, and we were very close in this podium standings for a portion.
Yeah,
it was just flip of a coin who got, oh, well, you're fighting 17 or 14 or 12 heat, and Josh, you're fighting 0, 0, and 2.
Yeah, I think it was you had higher painting than I did, but I think looking at,
I just went in general. Like,
yeah, I was looking at the breakdown. It's like we are extremely close on a lot of things. I beat you in combat, and you beat me in painting. So it's, it's one of those. Yeah, it was a rough time, but we had fun regardless because we choose to have fun, right? It's a lot. A lot of it's what you make of it. That's a big thing to remember, because sometimes people show up and they're like, "I didn't have a good time," and I'm like, "Did you will yourself to have a good time? It's important."
Yeah. The other portion of the heat is like, okay, stealth VTOLs, like we're only seeing. It's kind of the dash rate problem. It's like, okay, there's a few just hyper speedy units that do just enough damage, like Balak VTOLs. And it's like, okay, fine. Like, is this costed appropriately? And I was like, I don't think so. I think the VTOL immobilization discount is a little too discounty.
I don't know. The problem is like certain ones do a lot more damage than I feel they should.
Yeah.
But otherwise, this is why you only almost ever see Balaks, because they're the good ones, right? And they're the good ones. Red kites are okay, but they're limited in availability. And other than that, there aren't that many really oppressive VTOLs. They're kind of just there. They do 1 or 2 damage. So
that's where they should stay, Steve. I think it's in general like the over-optimized vehicle, like vehicles already get the discount. So they're, quote, if you had the identical stats to a mech, they are cheaper just because of the chance of mobilization. So that's why we see a lot of hovercraft and a lot of VTOLs, and even some like the tanks that are only like 6-inch, 8-inch movers, because now they're getting the discount for that as well as the damage. So it's like, all right, cool. And you get turret. Isn't that a bonus? Shouldn't that cancel out the discount now?
The ability to shoot behind you is sometimes very helpful. You still take the extra damage, but it's not like you're totally defenseless.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. This was the first year where I wasn't fighting it, but I was just starting to see the problem on like every table around me, kind of thing. So
I heard a lot of griping.
There's a lot of griping about just not the event, just I'm fighting this again.
Yeah. So a lot of
similar things were cropping up. It's like, okay, this is a problem, child. Can we not take this next year?
I mean, I see a lot of Wolfen. I mean, I didn't play them this year, but last year I saw a lot of Wolfen, a lot of heat. a lot of Balax. Fenrir's too, actually.
I
I
mean,
remember seeing a lot of Fenrir's, the quad battle armor that does a lot of damage at short range. I feel like Fenrir's this year were the tortoises of yesteryear.
I'm going to think on that. I don't think so. I think just if you're playing Lyrans, Lyrans only get really the quad battle armor. And that's kind of a thing for quad battle armor is you can take more gun.
We've got a couple of Lyran players locally here, so I feel like I see Fenrir all the time.
That's why.
Why is it so prevalent? Stop.
It's because Lyrans get Fenrirs and Fenrir 2s and technically Grey Death stuff, but that's not fun. That's not Lyran-y. Lyran-y is quad battle armor.
I guess.
Yeah. Any things we want to infer from you, Steve? Anything you want to like?
No, I don't. I mean, other than maybe discussing heat and a couple of tweaks to some of the rules. I mean, I don't think so.
Reflective armor, of course.
I mean, reflective is fine if you take the time to melee it, but if they bury a reflective unit in with a whole bunch of other heavy damage units, you just won't survive.
Yeah.
So.
When it's the perfect combination of a third of your list is 8 damage, a third of it is reflective armor, and a third of it's heat, there's nothing your opponent can do.
You're slow enough that they can't charge you.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I've got fire resistant and TSM. It's like, okay, cool. Well, they'll just 8 damage you to death. So
that's it.
Yeah. Overall, though, how's the event in general? Like,
very enjoyable. I mean, again, the thing that we like to see the most is hanging out with people, right? Because the community isn't that large, especially the community that travels regularly for tournaments. So you bump into a lot of the same people, and it's fun to see folks. It's great to catch up. It feels like I don't go to high school reunions, but it feels like kind of like one of those. Like it's what I would imagine a high school
Discord
reunion would be.
That's what it is.
If I liked high school, right? So it's fun. I mean, I like seeing folks. That's really the highlight for me. And Bobby always puts on a good show and he makes sure people have a good time. So it's always fun.
Yeah.
It's always fun. Worth the trip. If you haven't gone or would like to go, consider going next year. Bobby's a sweetheart. He'll help you out. And, it's just fun. It's just fun to get together and play. And if you show up with the attitude of having a good time and playing for kicks, you don't have to try to podium. There are a lot of extremely good painters, a lot of extremely good players, and a lot of really nice people. The competition is fierce to get to the podium. So don't go in with the expectation. I don't want to say don't go in with the expectation of winning, but don't be disappointed if you don't. Go there with the intention of having a good time first and foremost, and then it won't matter if you get a trophy or not. That, I think, is the key.
No, have fun is always goal 1. Goal 2 is to do well.
It's true.
So
I think, it's a good time and people should absolutely go.
It's still the best event. Like, I'll go to that over Adepticon any year.
110%. 110%.
Honestly,
absolutely.
I think this was my thing. It was next year. It's not that I want to drop one of them, but it's like I don't get to do all the other things. And Bobby had a lot of fun other things there that I was really sad that I couldn't. I kind of pulled the Adepticon problem where 4 days, 4 tournaments. Let's do this. I can, was it a espresso coffee without any breakfast? I'm going to live forever. Day 2, hospital.
Well, the big thing for me is it's like I was telling Bobby, he has like these narrative events that are going on, but like the Alpha Strike narrative events were also happening during the Alpha Strike tournament, and the classic narrative or the classic events were happening during the classic tournament. And it was like, you got to run them both each day so people can, if I'm playing in the classic tournament, I can do the Alpha Strike, or I can do the classic narrative events the day before. You got to run them multiple times. So it's not like there's one slot and you miss it. So I told Bobby, like, we really got to see more of those events or run more frequently so people can kind of sign up and have some flexibility to do all the events they want to do.
I would be okay with the Alpha Strike going to 1 day, just 3 games. I know it's like the centerpiece, but like, I'd like a different events. Like, okay, here's the 2 bookends, the big Alpha Strike and the big classic, and then like in the middle is like a blood name thing, a narrative RPG one. Like, I don't know.
I mean, it's
you could
4 days.
Just copy paste the Adepticon thing and make it better.
Honestly, Bobby could do better than Adepticon, no doubt.
Already is. Like, it's
So I think the big thing is, like, if you were to repeat some of the events, more people might get shots at them. But I think we all suffer from I want to do all the things, and there just isn't enough time. But before we move on to some of the other stuff, I do want to take just a minute, and we should probably congratulate all of our podium placers. So, Josh, you got that list?
I do have that list. All right, for the category of best overall, in first place, we have Matthew LeBaron. Good job, Matt. Second place overall, it's myself, Josh. In third place overall, it's Andrew McGee. In best general, in first place, we have Bill Kim. In second place, it's the illustrious Falcon man himself, Steve. And in third place general, it's Brian Kirby. Moving on to sportsmanship, in first place, it's Alex Perry. Second place, Joe Lynn Ferguson. And in third place, Travis Callan. Now for my favorite, best painted, first place, Mike Vicario. His stuff looked real good. Second place, Dave Romberger. And third place, Chris Duffy. Now for the special awards, for best hobbyist, it's Gene Gonzalez. And player's choice, again, Dave Romberger. So round of applause for all of those wonderful people going home with awards and trophies. They all deserve it. That's all I can say. But I would be completely remiss if I did not mention these sponsors for this amazing convention, because I know I say it every year, but it is 100% true that I would rather go to Southern Assault than almost any other convention. LVO, Adepticon, Gen Con, PAX, like, they're all fun, they're all great, but the only time where it's 100% focused on Battletech is Southern Assault. So it will always be something that I want to go to. Whether I play in it or not, it is a place I want to be. So I would like to thank Fortress Miniatures and Games, of course, and Bobby for putting on this convention and event. I would also like to thank Death Ray Designs for doing so much for terrain and just helping out. Tabletop Terrain, of course, for all the tables. Cross Electric Designs for helping out with the terrain for that, and as well as for the classic. Fighting Piranha Graphics for such a great prize pool. GHI Technology, Metalcore Collectibles, Monument Hobbies, man, Battlefront, 888stl.cc, Squad Sprayer, and Frontline Gaming, who all chipped in for an amazing prize table in a kind of crappy year. So I want to thank all of you guys personally on the show for just making that bundle something that everyone could grab something for. And of course, one of our favorites is all the artists that contribute to the prints that everyone gets to take home. The Spooky 777, Anthony Scroggins, Ken Coleman, and Eldon Cowger. And those of you at home may not notice, but there were actual fully painted CSO grade models on the tables for a lot of like the grinders and stuff. So James Joyce and Red Piano for painting those for the events, because I didn't have a chance to play in them, but man, I really wanted to, because those models look real good.
Well, congratulations to all of you guys. You worked really hard, and I mean, the painting stuff was amazing, and obviously the sportsmanship guys are always fun to hang out with. So congratulations, everyone.
Yeah.
I think that does it for days 1 and 2 of Alpha Strike. Should we let our intrepid listeners join us next time when we cover the Classic Tournament?
Only if they're lucky, Steve. Only if they're lucky.